Ooh. Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel. You got to click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. My head has been glued in front of a computer all day, staring at numbers, calculating and recalculating figures. I'm not talking about crypto, I'm talking about work. My brain feels a little dead today. I've had a very busy day. Now, this is all in the charts. And the reason this is all in the charts is because the factual point, the fact is that I believe, based on my education and knowledge, is that we use historical price data to ascertain what is going on today and what we can probabilistically say moving forward, and that news narratives actually follow the charts. If you think about it kind of intuitively for a moment, even if you're not a data person, if you evaluate a chart, all that historical stuff, all that historical news, all the news events that have occurred over time, it's baked into that chart. All the human emotions, it's baked into the chart. So when we are hypothesizing about what may potentially happen, again, no certainties, just probabilities, all that news information, we haven't normalized the data for that, meaning we haven't looked at the price data and stripped out all the variability associated with news events, right? The variability, the volatility, the news events, it's all in 2012 and 13, 15, 18. If you're looking at the stock market, 1940, 1977, 1982, okay? 1982 was an awesome year. 1987, 1990, you get the point, right? So while I believe that to be true, gonna need a drink today, let me tell you. A lot of shit going on today. Cheers, everybody. While that is true, while that is very, very true, it would be very remiss if I at least didn't mention what the hell is going on right now. And that is this. Welcome in, Kathleen. Glad to see you here, as well as Josh. Let's fucking go. It's very evident for anyone paying attention that what is transpiring right now with the SEC is that they got egg on their face. They looked pretty silly with what happened with FTX. And now they're taking an extremely aggressive stance and action towards the crypto industry. And they are literally just going after anyone and anything that moves. I mean, it's almost like being very reactionary, taking a knee-jerk reaction to what has transpired and essentially attacking the industry. And it's pitiful. It's very pitiful. And unfortunately, it's crazy because it sticks out to me like a sore thumb. Anyone who's really into this space can see it for what it is. Unfortunately, 97% of Americans, and I'm just talking about America, 90% of Americans are not well-versed on crypto, right? They just go based on what's in the headlines. Even very intelligent individuals like Minishift, okay? They don't know crypto. They just go based off of the headlines. And so all this serves to do is to create more misconceptions. That term smoke and mirrors, just misconceptions among the public, leading people astray. And it's sad that we have people in a position of power that abuse that position of power and are not ultimately seeking to do what is right for the investor, right for the community, and right for the innovation in the United States. I'm hoping that my brother and I had texted him recently, Crypto Bringer, if you are listening to this live stream, I hope we are starting Crypto Bros up next week, because this would be an opportune time based on still what is my view of what is to transpire this year in the market, but also the recent events with this recent Binance lawsuit. It's just a sad thing to see what's going on in the United States. But with that being said, Rashid, welcome in. DT, what's up, brother? Have yourself a cup of coffee. What the hell did you guys do while I was asleep? Oh, you're just waking up to this. Cheers, my friend. Mr. BBC, I can't watch your swollen main vein live today. Yeah, I'm a little vascular. I got the vein going over the bicep there. This is the bum elbow. Well, you know. I'm studying to take my tease test. I'll watch replay. Hey, real quick before you sign out, if you can, what do you mean your TEAS test? I don't know if you're trying to make a joke or you're actually being serious. What test are you talking about? I'm not sure what you're talking about, but thanks for checking in. I am also known as Mr. BBC. I have many nicknames. I don't know about you guys. I've accumulated a shit ton of nicknames over the years. You know, with that being said, had a little bit of an introduction here. Welcome to everyone new joining the live stream. Welcome to everyone who is a continuing supporter of the channel. We're going to get right into the charts, and I'm going to lay out to you exactly as I always do what I'm seeing in the charts and why the current price action, okay, nursing. Okay, you're in nursing. I used to know someone that was in a nursing program. I've known a few people that were actually in nursing programs. Congratulations. I am very big on furthering education and making something of yourself in the world and working hard. So cheers to you, man. Get at it. Get off the live stream and focus. Concentrate, take your exam, and come back tomorrow. What's up, Track? Let me tell you why today is the first day all year where, welcome in, Kevin. Today is the first day all year that is giving me a little bit of pause on price action in terms of Bitcoin reaching new all-time highs this year. Let me tell you why that is. I'm not telling you it's created significant doubt. It has not created significant doubt, but it's given me pause for the idea that it may not happen. And let me explain to you why. This deviation in price, now you know we've looked at the 12-hour quite a bit, right? And I have spoken to the importance of the 12-hour chart and what happens when we get, after we've had significant price action below the 200 and we get a death cross, what happens when we get a golden cross and we get both moving averages trending up, right? Historically, this has led to monumental surges in price, right? And what we don't want to see is, number one, we don't want to see a death cross, but more importantly, even if we got a small death cross here, something fairly insignificant or a cross down, but fairly stayed in line with the 200, that's not concerning to me. We just don't want to see the 50 trending down like this. The reason this is giving me pause is, as a realist, what I recognize in the chart is price action right now on a candle body closing basis is deviating moderately from the 200 simple moving average. And what I don't want to do, now that we've gotten a candle body close you see below here, I don't want to hang out below here. And most certainly, I've told you guys, I don't want to see this, okay? If we start seeing lower lows, see lower lows here and lower highs here, guys, it's going to take some time to, if that scenario plays out, it's going to take a decent amount of time to create market structure to get that golden cross to take place on a 12-hour and regain market structure on other charts here that we'll take a look at. And so we, at that point, would need to be realistic if Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high this year is still possible, okay? That's why I'm saying, you know, we've gotten this candle body close moderately below the 200 simple moving average, and so it's giving me pause for some concern. Again, it doesn't, make sure that you're not missing what I'm saying. It doesn't change the structural bullishness of the charts, okay? Even if we drop all the way down to here, we still have higher lows and we still have higher highs, right? There's nothing about that, okay? Long-term bullish structure still intact. We would have to take out 19,000. We'd have to come all the way down here and take this out, okay? And even yet, even if we came all the way down here, we would still have a higher low. Now, I do not see that happening, but just wanted to level set the conversation that macro perspective structurally, no, there's nothing alarming about what's going on. But hear what I'm saying. Today's the first day that at least gives me pause for concern that, okay, all-time highs this year, you know, we need to see a recovery here. And I'm being a realist by saying that. What we need to see, okay, now that we're down here, okay, we hang out down here for maybe a couple days. We need to see some sort of significant jump up in price to get back up to the $27,000 area, okay? V-shaped recovery, some sort of a V-shaped recovery would be the best case scenario. The alternative would be to just hang out down here for, say, a couple days, but begin to come back up into this $27,000 area and get a candle body close ultimately above $27,000. That's what we want to see in the chart. The other thing to keep in mind, and I've spoken to this on the live stream several times now, if you look at the RSI, why do I have 30 indicated here? Because in the past, when we've gotten down to this 30 level, and I've drawn the comparison between now, okay, in late September and early to October 2020 at this point, when you saw a strong deviation in the RSI, when we saw this move down here back in September, okay? We went below 30. When we hit new all-time highs on the 12-hour chart, we never went below 30. 30 was sort of our line in the sand. So it'll be interesting to see now that the RSI is back at this 30 level, are we going to continue drifting lower or are we going to bounce from here? Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But again, hear what I'm saying. Macro, higher time frame, no concerns. And we'll take a look at a couple other charts here. On a more granular level, recognizing historically how significant the 12-hour chart is, okay, from a time frame perspective, we need to see a recovery in price. That's being a realist. We need to see a recovery in price at $27,000, up towards $27,000. So that we don't get some sort of significant death cross here on the 12-hour, and we don't create these lower lows and lower highs below here, because that will push off all-time highs, okay? Again, being very realistic with you guys, as I always will. Now, actually, I want to take a look at this chart first. This is on a weekly, and this is where I want to kind of level set the conversation further on things being very healthy in nature. Now, one of the things that I've highlighted on this chart, we'll kind of hit on a couple key points on this chart, so make sure that if you have any questions, if something I'm saying isn't resonating, if it's not making sense, interrupt me and drop a comment. There is a little bit of a lag in recognition for me to see your comment once you drop it, but feel free to drop that and I will answer any questions. It's very important that you understand everything that I articulate on this chart. What are we looking at here? And first off, this shouldn't be a red line. I don't know why that's red. It should be green. Green for support. What are we looking at here? Well, a couple things. This is a weekly view on Bitcoin. Now, we have the 200 simple moving average, which is arguably the most important moving average on this chart. It sits at 26,400. So the first thing that you want to take away from this chart is we have all week. We have all week for price to develop, okay? Right now, we are sitting at 25,600, okay? And the moving average is at 26,400. We're about $900 away from it, all right? We have all week to get back above this moving average. We do not want to see a candle body close below 26,400. So at the bare minimum, what I want to see for the week, and obviously we'll reassess this on Friday as we get closer to the weekly close, depending, so I go live every weekday, Monday through Friday, as you know. Depending how the week plays out, when we have more prominent weeks with a lot of price action going on, I will consider live streaming additional days. So if it makes sense this week, we can live stream on Sunday during a weekly close. But for now, keep this in mind. Very important this week, okay, to continue to express strength in this chart, to close at or above the 200 simple moving average at approximately 26,400. Keep that point in mind, because remember, if we begin on any chart to get candle body closes below a moving average, what happens is that said moving average acts as then resistance if we close below it. If we stay above it, you see how we bounce off here? It acts as support. So we need to see something above 26,400, all right? The other thing to keep in mind is I have this major area of support around 25, we're going to call it 25,000, looks like 25,000. We're just going to call it 25,000. It is like 25,200, but let's keep things stupid simple in this chart. 25,000, right? So the scenario, as you know, I'm always going to keep things real with you. And, there are times I get things correct and things incorrect. I did not see us going down to this 25,200, even where we're at right now. Where are we at right now again? 25,600. Yeah, I didn't see us going this low because most people were calling for this $25,000 area. So this was something I was not expecting. So the 25,200 is an area of price confluence. It'll be interesting at this point, now that we've gone this low, I would suspect that we're at a minimum going to backtest this $25,200 level, okay? That is what I would suspect based on the price action. So don't be surprised. DT's already started his day, but don't be surprised if you wake up tomorrow, price is at or it has hit a level of 25,200. The other thing I want to take a look at on this chart with you is this downward resistance. We obviously need to break out above this downward resistance, right? At some point, price needs to come up and smash through downward resistance. We are 5 days into June. Nothing in these charts has changed my conviction on what to anticipate for the month of June. I'm still anticipating June to be a very bullish month. Want to echo that. Unless if something significantly changes on this chart, I expect June to be a very significant month. Now, Michael is hitting on something here that Binance is ruining us. Gary Gensler. Well, I do agree that Gary Gensler is corrupt. And I know, guys, a lot of this just isn't going to make sense to you, and you're going to argue with me that I'm wrong about this, and that's okay because I was once like you in terms of my thought process. The news follows the charts. The charts don't follow the news. Everything is baked into the charts. The charts tell us there's a probabilistic scenario for each direction. The news is a narrative that people need to fill a void, almost. You can think of it as. People need news to make sense of the price data, but the news is what's not steering this. Keep in mind, when things do go ballistic, okay, you're going to see all sorts of ridiculous headlines out there creating FOMO. But it's not the news it's not that narrative that's driving the chart. The chart was telling us we were going to enter a parabola. It just so happens that now the news is catching up to the chart. That is my view, okay? So that's the other thing I want to speak to. The other thing I want to get to on this chart that you should pay particular attention to is the MACD. I want to pay particular attention to the MACD. Now, we did get a positive cross, interestingly enough, and the week has not closed. The stochastic RSI was starting to move up. Looks like I'm talking about a weather forecast. The winds are rolling in. We were getting a bullish cross on this stochastic RSI. Okay, if we want to flip up here, let's take a look at the stochastic RSI. Now, the stochastic RSI, you can see it trending down before the negative news event and before the negative price action that was playing out on the chart. This stochastic RSI had actually crossed positive, okay, and we were above 20, which was great to see. That tells us that momentum is picking up in a bullish sense to the upside. Very good to see. Now, based on today's price action, we're starting to cross down. So the other important thing that we want to keep an eye on, and we're going to keep a very close eye on this chart this week, is what does the stochastic RSI tell us about price by the end of the week? Again, this candlestick is a week's worth of price action. This is one day. We could go monumentally lower and have a really bearish week, or we could get one hell of a hammer candle and close the week green. We don't know. We still have 6 days in the week, right? If we are able to close at 26,400 above this 200 simple moving average, I would suspect you're going to get a positive cross on the stochastic RSI, something else to watch for. Now, the other thing that I want to point out, I want to point to the MACD here. You see how all these price indicators, you can divulge so much from a chart. You can't just look at a chart. I mean, there's so much. This is why I love reading charts. There's so much you can tell from looking at a chart. You just need the right interpreter. You need someone who actually can sit here and explain it in layman's terms. The other thing that is potentially concerning is we're getting a negative cross on the MACD. Now, let's go back in time and ask. Now, again, there's no one price indicator that's going to tell us what happens, but let's go back in time and ask ourselves, when we've gone green to red, what has transpired? You can see here, when we went to red, we obviously went through our massive correction, right? When we went green to red, that was at all-time highs. We had our blow-off euphoric top. You can see we went through a massive correction. But this is the other interesting point in time I wanted to point to, okay? Here we had a correction too. This was the beer virus. Let's point to this time period. And this is the case in point that while it is concerning, don't get me wrong, it's concerning that the MACD is starting to flip red. We don't want to see that close like that for the week. Look what happened during the time period that I said that I believe we're at. This is in the end of September. You see how we got a negative cross on the MACD here? See that? We were green. We turned red for a little. We had a couple weeks of red here. You can see the histogram turned dark red and then went to light red, and then we started to enter euphoria, okay? So, again, until proven otherwise, until something significantly changes in the chart, I still see too much in the price data that isn't repeating but is rhyming with September to October of 2020. So yes, gives me pause for concern for all-time highs this year. We've spoken about it. But yes, structurally high time frame, nothing overly concerning going on. We have 6 days to go. So let's see how the week closes. Let's take a deep breath. Let's not feed into the emotion of fucktard Gensler. If you guys were here last week, I believe it was last week, I had shared with everyone, because I don't think everyone was up to date on this. I had shared last week, I believe it was last week, all the weeks bleed together. Gary Gensler actually officially changed his name to fucktard when he came out and announced that Algorand was a security. Fucktard Gensler. I think you were here for that last week. Did you see that? But let's take a deep breath. Hold your emotions. Emotions are a money killer. There's nothing structurally that's changed significantly on the higher time frame that leaves me feeling overly concerned. So let's just be patient. We're going to hit on a couple altcoins too. Now here's this chart that I've spoken to quite a bit. And this is a unique chart. This is a chart that no one else has spoken to in terms of the significance. And if you're new here, let me very quickly highlight what's going on. This is a 3-day chart. Let's zoom out. This is a 3-day chart, and there's one moving average. This is what I tweeted about. I said I would speak about it on the live stream. Let's talk about what's going on here as a refresher. 3-day chart, 125 simple moving average. Every single time in history, and again, all we can use is history. There's limited price data, but all we can use is history. Every single time in history, we had a significant downturn here where price went under the 125 simple moving average. As soon as, this is what the red circle denotes. The red circle denotes as soon as we got a candle body close back above the 125, it stayed above it. Not only did it stay above it, astronomical rise in price. Here, significantly below, significantly below. Once we got a candle body close above it, significant rise in price. This was the premature sort of top. This was our wave one movement, which a lot of people are comparing current price action to, which I believe is incorrect. Again, we had price action go back below the 125 simple moving average back during the beer virus. Once we got a candle body close above it, and check out what happened here, okay? Because this is the time period I'm most similarly comparing to what's going on. Notice we got above it, but we sort of hung out here for a while. We never went back below it, right? As soon as we went above it, again, candle body close, we never went below it. Significant rise in price. You can see the price returns, 94, 2.5, and 8.1x, okay? So literally, all I'm doing here, there's nothing very scientific or mathematical about this, okay? This is pretty simplistic what I'm showing here. I'm showing two things here. First off, as you can see, significant price action below it. Guys, we just reclaimed the area back here. Now, the other positive thing I want to point out here is that this moving average, and we spoke about this many weeks ago, this moving average is beginning to flatten out. That's exactly what we want to see, right? We don't want to continue to see the moving average going down. It's flattening out, and it's beginning to curl. It's going to begin to curl up the more we continue to escalate in price, okay? The other thing that I'm showing here, why do I have a 5.3x? Very simple. I believe it is very sensical, logical, and reasonable to assume as a possibility that now that we've reclaimed on a candle body close above the 125, not only will we see significant escalation in price and a significant, wow, I'm stuttering over my words, a significant rise in price, but it will be something similar to what we saw here. So I just add averaged. All I did was average these rates of return. What's an 8.1 plus a 2.5x return? You add those things together, you divide by 2, and you get a 5.3x, okay? And that puts us up at $130,000, okay? Also, I think this is very reasonable, assuming my standpoint in terms of the market structure here being in an Elliott wave formation, and we are going to see new all-time highs. So I think, and it kind of actually lines up with some fib extensions as well. So interestingly enough. But again, if I'm correct as well, at some point soon, you are going to see a significant rise in price similar to this. The other thing that I wanted to show you here is, for the time being, okay, this is, again, 3-day chart. We are in a falling wedge, actually. This is a falling wedge for the time being, all right? So we'll have to see how that plays out, but for the time being, I'm just showing you a valid pattern in the chart. So could it result in just a dead cat bounce? Sure, it could. We could roll over. Could it result in an initial bounce up for something more that ends up being a run up? Absolutely. It's a new word I invented, all right? So I'm hoping that these 3 charts kind of leave you feeling that, hey, while there is some pause for concern that we spoke about, there isn't anything overly concerning from a macro perspective that we should be fretting about, right? Just take a deep breath. Don't get emotional about this, because if you get emotional, you're going to get your ass handed to you in this market. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum, because I haven't charted Ethereum all day. Guys, honestly, I have not had a chance to do, outside if you saw me active on Twitter early this morning, outside of that, I haven't had a chance for anything. I've been literally glued in front of my work computer all day, updating projections. That was my day today. I was updating some yearly projections. All right, this is a weekly view on Ethereum. Well, I mean, let's not even look at the price indicators. I think the most, and Ethereum's actually, by the way, Ethereum is expressing more strength than Bitcoin. So, you know, when I think about that for a moment, what could it signal to us? What could it signal to us if Ethereum, which is the king altcoin and the driver of value behind all of the altcoins, what could it potentially signal to us if Ethereum is, for the moment, expressing more strength than Bitcoin? Well, I think there's a potential that Bitcoin, while it could rise in value, could stagnate a bit, while altcoins, I'm not saying they're going to have some massive alt season, that's not what I'm saying. We could see some rises in altcoins as Bitcoin's kind of doing its thing. Maybe Bitcoin goes up 5-10% in the coming 2 weeks, or the coming week. I would suspect it's going to go up a lot more than that if I'm correct about June. But let's say for the month of June, what this could indicate to us, maybe Bitcoin does rise up to some of the levels I've spoken to, but your altcoins are going to outperform that in terms of rate of appreciation and price. Now, what I'm showing here, I mean, most clearly, and I think this is the only thing we really should be paying attention to. Good to see this 50. This is on the weekly. The 50 rounding out, you can see that it's crossing above the 200, which is great to see. Let's not even look at price indicators. Let's keep it real simple and just focus on price action. Guys, what should stick out to you on this chart, if you've been here for a bit, the number one thing is that we're holding the 1800 as support. Now, I will say this, and you know this if you've been here for a bit, or if you're good with charts. One of the most basic premises in charting is it's fine if you backtest once, and you even backtest twice. You backtest a third time, I'm starting to get skittish, okay? Every time you continue to hit support like that, it actually weakens. It does not get stronger. So I like that I really like that 1800 is holding a support, because I believe that that is critical. We really don't want to see prices start to drop down below here. Again, is it the end of the trend if we do? No, we still, even if we come down here, we still have higher lows, okay? So just don't lose sight of that. We could drop down there. That's certainly a possibility. But I love that we're holding 18, but we're holding 1800. What I don't like is we're continuing to hang out at 1800 and bounce off of it. Let's bounce Ethereum. Let's bounce up. Let's start going up towards 2500. All right? I want to get out of this zone. I want to get out of this 2100 to 1800 zone. I want to start to bounce up. I see you, Ethereum. I see you. You're not invisible to me. I see you're expressing strength in the chart. You're holding 1800. Golf clap. Golf clap. Very good. But let's get above 1,800, all right? I don't want to hang out down here. The more we hang out down here, the more probabilistic it becomes that now we start dropping towards 1,500, and I don't want to see that, all right? So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Let me get to some comments here, and then I have a few other charts that I was going to hit on, and it looks like we're 30 minutes into the live stream already. I've been babbling for 30 minutes. Hard to believe. If we don't get to too many TA questions today, we can make tomorrow about TA questions. You know, it's interesting, Michael. Michael's raising an interesting point on this XRP case. You know how I say that news follows the charts and the charts don't follow the news? You know, it would be interesting to see the reaction of the market given that Ripple wins that lawsuit or settles and there's a minor fine. One of the two. Positive outcome either way. There's another shit show. Jay Clayton. He was the SEC chair that dropped a lawsuit on Ripple on his last day as SEC chairman. You know, I remember when Fucktard Gensler was appointed the new chairman and people were applauding. People were applauding that, thinking because he taught at MIT on a crypto class that this was going to be great for crypto. That guy, he's one of those guys that if there were no rules in life and you could get away with anything, I would just love to meet that guy in a dark alley. That's what he just reminds. Doesn't he remind you of the person in all seriousness? And I was someone who was picked on a lot when I was a kid. All right, but doesn't he remind you of the nerd in school that just like, and he's in a position of authority now and he's just abusing it. He just seems like that kid that was picked on all the time. And instead of using that as a means to grow as a human being in a positive manner, he's now in a position of power where he's abusing his power, right? Some of us who go through adversity in life use it as a means to do something productive and positive in life. I would like to consider myself someone like that. And some of us don't. Some of us get cynical in life. Some of us, quite frankly, never grow up and go through self-growth. Don't want to go down that avenue and talk about that. And some of us get into positions of power and then look up what little man syndrome is. It reminds me of little man syndrome. Look up what little man syndrome is. That's what it reminds me of. Guy's a fucktard. What else we got here? Isn't it just a run on Binance, sell and cash out? Newbie. No, it's not a run on Binance. I'm glad you're questioning that it's a noob question. I can appreciate that. You know, I got to tell you what's up. I like that name. I got to tell you, if I was new in this space, I'm trying to actually put myself in the shoes of someone who would be new in cryptocurrency, and you have all these headlines coming out. FTX collapses, Luna went to zero, the exchanges are getting sued. Even Coinbase is eventually, I don't know if you guys recognize this, but there's going to be a lawsuit with Coinbase. This shit is just, if I was getting into this space, I could see myself getting very scared out of the space and like, what the fuck is going on? But I'm very thankful. I am very thankful that I have geeked out and I have spent the past, oh my God, how many years now? I have spent more than, 6 years actually, learning about this space. I've been invested for, I've been invested for over 5 years. But I've been learning about this space for 6 years. So this stuff just doesn't faze me. It really doesn't. I'm not just saying that. Who you see on camera is who I am in life. Many ways, more ways than one. But yeah, I mean, it just doesn't scare me because I've been here and done that and seen that. So, but I can see how someone new to the space would get scared out and not know what the hell is going on. Kathleen, you are the new enforcer. I want to express my appreciation, but I can't give you a heart emoji. But thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate that. John is nowhere to be seen. So Kathleen is the new enforcer. Yes, he was backing Algo before that. Anyway, hopefully I end up fired sometime. Yeah, so look it up. I feel like sometimes I know information that I take for granted. You guys might not know. But if you go on Twitter, I might have retweeted it. If you go on Twitter, you'll see that Fucktard Gensler, when he was at MIT, he was giving a lecture on Algorand, and arguably promoting it. Arguably promoting it. Go watch the video. It's out there. Michael Kelly, what chart's this? Well, outside of Black Swan events, as this is not a Black Swan event, keep in mind, my view is the news follows the charts. The charts don't follow the news. So the price action, let's actually take a look here. Guys, did I not tell you, look at Synapse right now. Is this updated? Is this current price action? This is current price action. Guys, what did I tell you about Synapse? It doesn't matter what news event is going on. What did I tell you was most likely for Synapse? Has anyone been paying attention? I tweeted about it. I've spoken to it on the live stream. It doesn't matter what the news event is. We broke out of a falling wedge, and what did I tell you? I told you that if you missed the move while it was not guaranteed, and by the way, let me take this out of the way. We near perfectly hit this resistance at 77 cents. I like to use nice round figures. We literally hit this resistance, and then look what happened. I said, hey guys, if you missed the move on Synapse and you're looking to get in while not guaranteed, I feel there's a high probability that we would come down and backtest the descending resistance within the falling wedge as support. What happened? It wasn't the news event that drove this price action. This chart, over the history of time, when it becomes present within whatever it is you're charting, a falling wedge, when you break out of descending resistance, it's very common to come back and backtest resistance as support. It expresses strength. It acts as a springboard to continue higher. That's exactly what we did. So it's not the news narrative that drove this. It was the statistical likelihood that when a falling wedge plays out, we get an initial bounce with a statistical likelihood that we're going to backtest and continue up. Could the chart completely fall apart? Could this happen? Yes, we could. Let me see here. Whoop, hold on. I got to get this damn auto scale off. All right. Could the chart fall apart and we come all the way down to 54 cents or lower? Absolutely, there's a probability, although it's less. There's less of a probability for that. What's more probable, now that we're bouncing off of there, okay, what's more probable is that we may get some consolidation in this range, and then we're just going to continue churning higher. That this is the initial move that will springboard us up to higher highs from where we're at, okay? So it's not the news that's driving this. Track. So Track is raising a good point. I hit on this earlier. All I can tell you is that I reiterate on this channel constantly, okay? I'm very, very careful with my words. I have never come on this channel, and I have never, while I do act a little crazy sometimes, I know, I always say that I'm insane. I'm sane in an insane world, okay? I know sometimes if you've seen my earlier videos, when you've seen the crypto bull god get in true form, which we'll get there at some point once the market turns up. I don't know how I come across, but at the end of the day, I'm very grounded in mathematics, data person, logical, and all I can tell you is I never offer financial advice on this channel. I choose my words carefully. I look at charts and I tell you what I see in the charts. And all I can tell you, Track, all I can tell you is for someone who's been here as long as I have, which I've been here for a decent amount of time, there's nothing about what's going on that scares me in the intermediate future, okay? Okay. I can't tell you what's going to happen 10 years from now. That's not what this channel is designed for. Where, I mean, that the variability associated with that, it's anyone's guess, okay? It's fun to talk about, but it's anyone's guess. The other thing you have to keep in mind is, why are you scared? Are you scared just by the nature of being scared, or are you scared because potentially you've put too much into the market and now you're fearing, oh my God, I'm going to lose everything? Make sure that whatever you're investing or whatever you're trading, however you're doing this market, you're comfortable with that risk allocation, right? You want to be comfortable at the end of the day that based on your education and knowledge and based on, there's so many variables going through my head, but keeping it stupid simple, based on whatever you're putting in this market, you're comfortable with that. Because there never should be a point where you're feeling god-awful scared about everything. You shouldn't get to that point, okay? So, but I hear you, though. If I was a newer investor in here, I would be. There would be a level of fear from me if I saw what was going on. So I understand where you're coming from. Let's hit on a few other charts. This is on a daily, and the main thing I just want you to keep in mind is a lot of these charts right now, they're doing the same thing. What's happening is, we'll look at a few of them. Price is moving down, and yet the RSI is increasing. This is a bullish divergence, and they're occurring on multiple time frames. Again, does that mean that we're going to see a significant bounce in price? No, that's not what that means. What it does mean is that there's a good probability for it, okay? There's a good chance, there's a good likelihood associated here that we're going to see a significant bounce in price. Flux, let's take a look at Flux. This is on the weekly, okay? I think this one had bullish divergence too. Could be mistaken. No, it does. So again, you can see that price, look at how price is at where it was at all the way back here at the beginning of May, and yet the RSI is increasing in value. I would also keep in mind, see how the RSI is increasing in value? I would also keep in mind that for Flux, what I have charted out here on a higher time frame, okay, and I hold a decent position in this one. I increased my position very recently that I announced. Keep in mind that this is on a weekly time frame. You can see that there is uptrend occurring here, right? General uptrend. You can see for the moment we're starting to break down below that. Guys, we have 6 days left in the week, so let's allow the charts to develop. But this thing I've said, again, nothing has changed in this chart. An asset being down 11%. I think I saw Harmony was down like 13%. Something ridiculous like that. Yeah, it's down 13%. Look at this. H-bar is down 4%. You know, Sandbox and Mana were two of these tokens that were classified as securities by the SEC. It's just unbelievable. Jesus Christ, the SEC. But what you have to, again, being down 11 or 13% is not uncommon for this market. Don't forget that once prices really start to pick up, you're going to see your assets up 20 and 30% plus in a day. Things are going to get hot very, very quickly. You can't expect that much upside potential if you don't have the downside risk as well and the downside volatility, right? And I've hit on this point too. I just think it's important on a day like today to just provide some commentary so that we level set the conversation and we don't get very emotional. The other thing to keep in mind is, very important to keep this in mind. I'm going to illustrate it on this point, on this chart. If I can get TradingView to cooperate with me. Hold on. Okay. The other thing to illustrate on this chart is that we've had all this consolidation, right? Let's use Flux as an example. You see all this consolidation that's taken place. Look how long this consolidation has been taking place. Since we topped here, this has lasted a year and a half. 365 times 1.5, 547. Okay, just about a year and a half, all right? So this consolidation has occurred for roughly a year and a half, and until we break out, we may not get a significant breakout, let's even say till the end of June. That's lasted like a year and a half. When we start to see a monumental rise in price, let me show you what that's going to look like, okay? It's going to look like that, okay? You're going to see prices go from, maybe we're up at $1.50 at that point. You're going to see in the span of 3 months, things go from $1.50 up to $30, okay? That is how quickly in the span of 3 months, 2.5 months, you're going to see things go from $1.50 to $30. That is how quickly this market moves. The largest gains, what I'm trying to drive at here, the largest gains, the what you've waited for, what you're waiting for your investment portfolio, okay? That time, the time period of appreciation, that what you're waiting for your portfolio to appreciate, it takes place over such a condensed, short period of time. The consolidation, the year and a half, 2 years of consolidation. Let's look at Chainlink. This is what weeds people out. It takes a long time. And then you get that short euphoric run. This is what you realize when you evaluate these. Look at this thing. 1 year of bullshit on Chainlink. This thing has just been going back and forth and back and forth. And this is no fault to someone like my father. Okay, my father is an extremely intelligent individual. But you have someone like my dad who is invested in Chainlink, and he reaches out to me, and he might say to me, hypothetically, he might say to me, essentially, it's not doing anything. And I get it. I get it if you can't read a chart and you don't understand crypto on top of it. This thing has been building bullish divergence for a year. When it breaks out, guys, when Chainlink breaks out, you're going to see something like this, okay? We went from $3.50 all the way up to $50 in the span of several months, okay? Remain patient. Remain patient. Let's see what other charts we have here I wanted to point to. Alchemy Finance, again. I said 2.6 would be an incredible buy opportunity if it went this low, and we've gone lower. So the question now is, and I think what it's presenting is an awesome opportunity because this essentially, let's just focus on price action. Let's get off the price indicators. This is on a 3-day, okay? And what I see right now, there was a low here, and there was a lower low here. So there's really 3 scenarios. We could get a lower low, we could get a double bottom, or we could get a higher low. I know I feel like I'm stating the obvious. Regardless, nothing about my buy zone has changed. I think this one is presenting an incredible opportunity to get in at suppressed levels. I identified this buy zone way back here. Way back in March, I said, hey guys, I know everybody's euphoric on Alchemy Pay, but let's be conservative. Not even conservative. Let's be logical and non-euphoric. Let's wait for this golden buy zone. Look what has happened. We're right in this zone. This is an opportunity, in my opinion, many months out from now, you're going to say, wow, I had an opportunity to get Alchemy at 2.3 cents, and now it's at 20, 30, 40 cents. So again, nothing concerning here. I just think it's the lower we go in this golden zone, the better the opportunity is to get in. That's just my view. Mana, again, despite the news, despite it being down 10%, what here has changed in the chart structurally? I don't see anything. Do you see anything in the chart structurally that has changed? I don't. Again, you can look at the being down 10%. You can look at the news about Binance. You can look at fucktard Gensler probably tweeting out things by now. I don't know. I have not been on Twitter, but I'm sure he's been tweeting shit out by now. Maybe in his classroom setting, he puts out these really corny videos. Like I said, he is the guy. I tell you, there are no consequences sometimes in life. Anyway, despite all that, if you put the news narrative aside and you focus on the chart itself, there's nothing here that has changed to make me feel that anything is different right now. Again, we still have a falling wedge. We still have a bull flag. We still have higher lows coming in. There's nothing bad. Same thing on Sandbox. I'm not even going to open up Sandbox. It's the same damn thing on Sandbox. It's the same thing. I'm just looking at the price of 51 cents. It's the same thing. Bitcoin dominance. I think we touched on that. Did we touch on this? Or did I tweet this out? Maybe I tweeted this out. Did I tweet this one out? Yes, I tweeted this out. So some commentary earlier this morning when I was sipping on my coffee. Thumbs up, everybody. Give me a little love. Give me a little support. I don't got a lot of love in my life right now. Give me a little love. Little love. I need a little virtual love. There's no real life love going on right now. I need virtual love. Have pity for me. Feel sorry. If you pity CBG, hit the thumbs up button. Need a little love in my life. All right. That was sad. This is Bitcoin. As you can tell, I do not take myself seriously one bit. Bitcoin Dominance Weekly. Okay. Could we breaking down? This is what happens when you're not fully awake. Could we be breaking down, implying a potential run in alts? Let's discuss later today live on the charts. So, Was that on the weekly? Was it on the weekly? Okay. I want to make sure I'm covering the right chart. So this is Bitcoin weekly. And what I'm indicating here, pretty straightforward, okay? We hit this zone here. This zone is at 48.9. Yeah, 48.92%, okay? We hit it here. It's an area of price confluence. Once we broke below it, couldn't get above it, couldn't get above it, couldn't get above it. Almost touched right here. Look where we just hit, 48.92%. And we're getting a cross down on the MACD, okay? This could be signaling to us that we could get some sort of drop in dominance, right? Don't know where. Again, once we hit this level, we get down to this 39% level, we are breaking lower. I will tell you that right now. I would be willing to bet Satoshis on that. Once we get down here for like the 7th touch, this piece of shit is breaking. It is not going to hold a lot of support there. But could we see some sort of drop here? Maybe we get a drop to 44%. It looks like there's some price confluence at 44, 43, even around the 42 area. So we could, I think it's very reasonable to assume, based on some prior dialogue earlier in the live stream, with Ethereum showing strength relative to Bitcoin, what I'd like to see in the chart, and hopefully it does play out, I don't like to use the word hope. What I'd like to see in the chart is Bitcoin over the coming days does bounce up above 27. But as Bitcoin's bouncing up again above 27, what I'm starting to theorize based on some of the strength with Ethereum, and we're also looking at Bitcoin dominance looking weak, okay? Again, Bitcoin dominance, for those unfamiliar, if Bitcoin dominance is dropping, what it's saying very simplistically is Bitcoin is dominating less percent of the market. It doesn't hold as much of the market capitalization, implying that altcoins are grabbing more of it. They're running at a greater rate, right? Or decreasing at a smaller rate, one or the other, combination of both. So I'm theorizing, is it possible that as Bitcoin reclaims 27, okay, that Ethereum runs harder, your altcoins run harder? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Remain very, very patient this week. YC, what's up, brother? DT, I want to take a look at one more chart. DT is suggesting that we are coming back for some sort of back test. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at total. We haven't looked at that in a little bit. What's everybody having for dinner this evening? I am having an extremely bland dinner. I'm not even going to tell you what I'm having because it's that bland. I was like, yeah, I just didn't have time to put anything together. I could have if I didn't live stream, but I love you people so much that you matter more than food to me. So I'm going to have a bland dinner, very bland dinner. You're saying okay. I think I see what you're saying there, son. This is a 2-week chart, and what I see is an area of price confluence right there. Oh, without a doubt. I see an area of price confluence right around 1.04 trillion. Okay, 1.04 trillion, and we bounced basically right off that. 1.037 versus 1.036. Again, you could do this and it would still be accurate. So the point is, where DT I believe is going with that, at least what I see in the chart. I don't know if this is what you meant, DT, but this is what I see in the chart. You see how we couldn't get above here? Can't get above, can't get above, can't get above, broke above, and now we've back tested. So we'll have to see if we hold. Basically what you want to look for, let's just keep it stupid simple as we always do on this channel. And thank you for the thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. Let's make sure that when we close out the week, here's another thing you want to watch for this week. I've given you some things to watch for on Bitcoin, as well as that $1,800 level for Ethereum. I like to move my arms around. It's the Italian in me. The other thing that you want to watch for, you can just go to, if you're not good with charts, go to Coin Total Market Cap, refresh it, and by Sunday at 8 p.m., you want to make sure that this says 1 trillion. Just make sure that that says 1 trillion. If we're under 1 trillion, okay, all right. Somewhat depends on the magnitude below a trillion, but I really don't want to see us going below $1 trillion. $1 trillion isn't really that much. when you consider the value of a lot of other stocks out there. I think Apple is at like, what the hell is that Apple at? Like, Apple's over $2 trillion. So crazy to think about. Anywho, here's another thing you want to look for this week. Just go to CoinMarketCap and make sure this number, coinmarketcap.com, make sure this value says 1 trillion or above by Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, we'll see how the charts develop this week. I think that there's going to be a lot of things to get excited about this year. And so with that idea in mind, and I really want to continue doing a lot more work on my channel, I'd like to also collaborate with other people in the space, trying to get some things moving there. But in any event, where I was going with that is when there are material market developments, I will consider going live on days I wouldn't normally go live on the weekend, based on what's going on. This could be one of those weeks. This does look like, with the way charts are setting up right now, this is a significant week. I do not want to see us close under this 200 simple moving average. So, guys and girls, apparently 10% of you tuning in are female, so I appreciate that. I was checking out my statistics on YouTube Studio this morning. 90% are men, approximately, and 10% are women. What was the other breakdown I was looking at? There was another breakdown. I was trying to get the age demographic, and I don't think I saw that. It wasn't populating for some stupid reason. It used to before, but it was having issues this morning. I think the last time I checked, everyone tuning in is in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, which makes sense, between 30s and 50s. Not a lot of people, not as many people in their 20s, and not as many people above 50s. I'm somewhere in that age range. We'll let that be a mystery. That's all I got today. I know that I didn't get into any TA Q&A. So tomorrow, I do promise to make plenty of time for you guys to ask any charting questions. It will be interesting, by the way, real quick before you tune out. Looks like my imaginary 4-year-old got on the computer screen here. I don't know what that is. Real quick before you guys tune out, it will be interesting to see. We had price action today, right? And we know what it is. But there's a whole host of variable outcomes for tomorrow. That's the word I was looking for. We could see a significant bounce, which would be very welcomed. We could see a bounce go green and then just go red and fall over. Wouldn't want to see that. We could see a slight red day tomorrow, or we could see a slight green day tomorrow. There's really, it's anyone's guess what we're going to see tomorrow. So we'll have to see how the markets respond tomorrow. We will be here, and someone is at my front door apparently. And also, but just don't lose perspective, okay? That the most important thing is not concluding what's going to happen tomorrow, right? We're not as concerned about what's going to happen tomorrow. We're more concerned about how the week closes out. We're more concerned with that higher time frame, right? So don't lose perspective on that, all right? Again, make sure to hit the thumbs up if you haven't already to support the channel. It gets this channel out there to more individuals so I can help to educate, keep things grounded and logical, and throw out the hype that exists in this space. If you did appreciate the content, also make sure to click the bell icon so you know when I go live. Sometimes it's atypical times. And until next time, guys, share the video. By the way, share the video with at least one person and spread awareness, and let's carry the education forward. Have a good evening, and I hope you're having more of an exciting dinner than me. Take care, guys and girls.